I'm going to get rid of that Obamacare. You know, Obamacare's got a couple good things about it. It's got the fact that youngsters can stay on their parents' policies till they're 26 years old. And it's a good thing that you can't be turned down for pre-existing conditions. Hold on. I'm going to build a wall that's so huge, and I'm going to get Mexico to pay for it. Well, you know, a picket fence in some places might be okay. You know, that'll be okay. You don't have to do a big wall. We can do. Okay.
We've got to rebuild the infrastructure and add jobs. Wait, who was that saying that? And against the TPP. But it's all so confusing about what to think about the P word, president-elect. We're in black. We're mourning.
we're in black because a rotten candidate for president won.
And a rotten candidate for president lost.
Oh, that's true. Yeah.
Gloria La Riva got 43,000 votes nationwide. I'm pleased.
Who got that many?
Gloria La Riva, socialist candidate.
Okay.
Mostly got her votes in California,
Yeah.
but a few little pockets here and there around the country.
Gary Johnson got whatever amounts to about 3% of the votes in America.
A little over 3 million votes. Jill Stein.
Jill Stein got a little over 1 million votes.
Yeah, about 1%, they say, which was double what she got in 2012.
Well, at that rate, the Green Party will have the presidency in 3014.
We're getting there. We're getting there. You know, it's fascinating though, because you can't say that she cost Hillary the election when she got so few votes. But maybe you can say that she cost Hillary the election because she didn't get enough votes to be flipped to Hillary in the electronic voting machines. So when they say that Jill cost Hillary the presidency, it's because enough of you didn't vote for Jill Stein to get your votes flipped to Hillary's side. So think about, it's madness. It's just madness.
Did anybody really claim from the Clinton side that Jill Stein cost her the election?
I don't know if, from the campaign?
Can you check your Podesta emails to see if maybe there's one in there about that?
Hey, John, can we read your emails? Just bring your iPhone in here. Let us check, your password.
Hold on, I got him right here. Because when I was walking past him in the hallway, I pushed a button. I think it was this button right here, and it captured his phone number. After it captured his phone number, then I had access to everything on his phone, including his email accounts. Now, when I was gone for a couple of weeks earlier, a few weeks ago I was gone, I was actually transferring those emails from Podesta's phone that I captured over to a fellow by the name of Julian Assange.
And because of that, John Podesta was punished. He had to go out at 2 a.m. in front of the weeping crowd at the Javits Center, who was expecting, like Willy Wonka, to break through the ceiling in a great glass elevator. He had to go out there and tell them all, go home, there is nothing here to see, we will have no comment tonight, we're still counting votes. How did he have to go out there? All those people who had blood, sweat, and tears Bernie would never leave people hanging like that.
So in other words,
Crime and punishment.
yeah. So Hillary Clinton did not face her supporters to give them the bad news.
No. She did, however, the next day give her concession speech, noticeably wearing purple. Now, if I were her fashion consultant,
Yeah.
I would have advised her to not wear purple. Now, theoretically, she and Bill had some purple on as well. They're looking to the future and the merging of the red and the blue into something. But they've obviously never been to a Renaissance festival because purple is the color of royalty.
Did she have her ermine jacket on?
Probably. She probably had the jewel-encrusted crown in the $30,000 handbag. I can't get enough.
And Trump, when he gave his speech, why did we not see his left hand? Was that in his pocket? Was he thinking about opening up a billiards parlor?
Can you scroll a teleprompter from because he was reading from the teleprompter, and he was very
Got that too.
contained.
Yeah.
But then as soon as the text must have scrolled off, the demeanor totally changed. He kind of was off the cuff again.
Yeah.
But he sounded like Bernie at one point, talking about jobs and infrastructure. It was almost verbatim Bernie.
He must have talked about that during the campaign. I mean, why would he talk about something after the votes have been counted or enough votes counted to deliver him the?
Is that the president-elect calling? He heard it? We're already being spied upon?
Yeah, it is.
Hey, Donnie. I'm sorry.
Hold on, I'm gonna get it.
I'm sorry.
Now, is this the left side of your face or the right side of your face that's going to be addressing us? Okay. I can't put it on speakerphone. Or maybe that's him whistling.
Walking away into the sunset, working from his satellite office in Trump Towers.
Actually, this is the whistling wizard that I have on a few of my folks that can call me. Okay.
So here's the question then. If he's saying that he's going to work part-time at the White House and he's going to work part-time at Trump Towers, isn't he really doing this just to be like the rest of us out here who, a telecommuting world? Isn't that his way of trying to understand what it's like for the rest of us to, want to not work from the office? Isn't that his way of reaching out to the common people or something?
I'm going to have to go back to the beginning again here. Let's look back to the beginning.
Let's go back to the beginning.
Okay.
There was the earth and the heavens, the sun and the...
Well, maybe in fact, I'll keep some of those things from Obamacare that are not too bad. There's the part about the part about people being able to stay on their parents' insurance policies to the age of 26. And there's also the part about people won't be able to be turned down for pre-existing conditions.
Any pre-existing condition?
Throw out Obamacare. Just throw it out. Throw it out. Throw it out.
But what do people do for health care?
Don't ask that question.
Oh.
And a small bit of the wall, a small fence, say perhaps, might suffice for a lot of parts of the border because it'd be cheaper. And just in case those Mexicans aren't agreeable to pay for it, it'll save us some money. Build a wall. Keep them all out. Build a wall. Keep them all out. They're all bad. except for a few good ones. I'm going to deport every single one of these illegal aliens that are here. 11 million of them, 20, however many. Did I hear 25?
You heard 27.
27 million? Okay.
27.
27 million. I'm going to deport all of them. Well, you know, we only really needed to deport 3 million of them. Or at least, in abeyance of deporting them, we probably have a couple of corporate prisons that are a bit short on people hanging around there, and you know, very profitable for
private prisons.
Private prisons.
They are on the stock market. They got to
CCA.
keep their stock up.
Yeah, okay.
So here's the question then. If he keeps lowering his deportation estimate and he gets under the 2.5 million that President Obama's administration has deported over his term.
That's right, he did. That's right. President Obama, during his 8 years, 2.5 million aliens were captured and deported. I bet nobody in the media reported anything about that.
Not till just now.
Well, that's very helpful post-election.
Isn't it helpful post-election? You hide certain things before the election. The White House, it's while an old building, they've updated it. It has a number of well-lit and well-sized closets in which you may hide large scandal. Like, how many skeletons do you think are buried out there in the garden? And am I talking figuratively or literally? We don't know.
And how many folks out of the 51 if you include Janet Reno, that the Clintons in Breitbart have been constantly hammering away about individuals that the Clintons had contributed to the death of. Now, murdered. That's what Breitbart said.
That's what he has said.
And where else would they be buried?
Well, he'll apparently, as the rumor is going, is going to get firsthand knowledge because he's going to be on the transition team or the advisor, or, I mean, that's what they're saying. So here's the question. Here's the question that I have.
Is that Steve Bannon, or is that
yes.
Dr. What's the one that plays?
Bruce Banner?
Bruce Banner, the Hulk.
I mean, look, if he, it's like X-Men, you got to get all the superheroes. It's like Superman. Superman either works for the government or works against the government. And the government wanted him, and so, Superman sold out, if you read The Dark Knight. And, that's why Batman goes and beats up Superman. And it's a great story, because Superman finally gets what's coming to him. It's great. It's great stuff. Batman beats Superman. They didn't do that in the movie, not really. They kind of messed that up. Anyhow, if what is he doing?
My feelings exactly.
Can we just sit here for half an hour and sigh? Weeping.
It's all almost too much to
crying
believe.
in your soup.
Almost too much to believe.
Who is he? Is he anyone he wants to be on any given day? If he wants to build a wall and he sold bricks at $27 a piece, would it surprise you? Would it be the worst Hollywood script ever?
Trump Brick Incorporated.
Trump Brick Incorporated. With Trump stamped in the bricks? I mean, he got 60 million people to vote for him. He doesn't need Mexico to pay for it. He could source that to people in the country, like Bernie sourced his campaign, make a total mockery of the whole thing. And how many of those people do you think would pay for a brick?
And then, if they pay, let's say, $10 for a brick, then that person would have the opportunity to go and lay that brick in the wall.
Oh my gosh. We are having an entire, we're talking like the Trump field trip specialty package. But do you get to have dinner with him?
if he's on TV and you got a TV screen. Yeah.
Dinner with Donald.
Yeah, dinner
he
with-
sits in the empty chair here like Clint Eastwood. And now, that's not to say that all 60 million people who voted for the president-elect, and I suppose we do have to speak of him as the president-elect,
We will.
because we speak of President Obama as President Obama, and while folks who have been against him for 8 years don't give him that respect,
But we won't be that
we
way.
don't want, if we become them, then we're no better than they are. So I am going to try to make a point. I mean, for the last...
Try to help them become more like us rather than have them be more
Yes.
like them.
For the last 9 months, I've called him Trump or Donald or the Donald, and
Yeah.
I have to train myself out of that and refer to him as the president-elect until 30 electors swap over and do something.
Well, I'm going to, until Election Day, I'll almost match you on that. Until Election Day, I'm going to refer to him as President-elect Drumpf.
Okay, fair enough.
And then I'll refer to him as President Trump.
I just feel like in all those little ways, even if it doesn't seem important, or if it seems to some like it's capitulating to the potential of a very near fascist regime, I still feel like it's important to give the respect, not because of him per se or the cabinet, but the respect to the folks who voted for him, because to me, I want to build a bridge.
Yeah.
I don't want to stand over here and say, well, you voted for him, you're over there, we're over here, because that schism's growing.
That was one of the biggest mistakes, I believe, that candidate Hillary Clinton made prior to the election. Is she lumped Trump voters together and referred to them, many of them being, I think the word she used was deplorable. And I think that was you don't shut out anybody for any reason. You don't shut them out because you may want to come back to them one day. They may come back more towards you. Some of them may come back and say, we were wrong and maybe we shouldn't have voted for Trump. Oh, but remember how Hillary Clinton called us deplorable? Likewise, her remark early on in the campaign after the primaries were done, her remark about the, do you want to go to war with me against the NRA? Well, she might have had some voters out there that supported her but happened to belong to the NRA. Yeah. Hunters even, because a lot of them are hunters, and a lot of NRA members believe, like we do, that background checks are important and very worthwhile. I think 60% of NRA members are very much in favor of expanded background checks. And she talked like every one of them was cut from exactly the same cloth and all of them were bad people. No, hardly. A lot of folks are hunters and they don't own an AK-47. They wouldn't want an AK-47. They just want a bow and arrow or a small caliber gun for any of a couple of reasons that are reasonable reasons, just to have in their drawer just in case someone breaks into their home, and they've got it under lock and key, and will never have the opportunity to use it because by the time they unlock the gun, somebody will already be there with a gun pointed at them. But I think she really insulted a lot of Americans that she really should not have, and enabled Trump to come around the next day and say, you see what she called you? If you were thinking about voting for her, you probably don't want to do that now that she called you some pretty nasty names. And he was accurate.
Even beyond the shouldn't have said, why, if you're, I mean, it's a sin of overconfidence with her. I guess she believed that there are enough Democrat voters that no matter what happened, she had enough people who would come out and vote and she would win. I mean, isn't that what this whole thing's about?
So there was no problem with her insulting people who might have not only voted for her, but also post-election would have at least been movable on some issues.
The two major party candidates never once stood up there in any of the debates appealing to voters that they didn't expect to vote for them. They spent the entire time going at each other, appealing to their known base, and never once said, you know what, I'm trying to bridge, I'm trying to build together. We have differences.
Well, Trump said it after the election, after he had won.
He did.
He took a step in that direction, and said, "What am I supposed to say now? Oh, I'm supposed to say we need to unite." But the question is, did he mean we need to unite together, or do we need to unite behind me? Because if you don't, I got a trick or two for you folks.
It's tough to say, because you look at the cabinet that's being put together, and it differs with what he said that night. So that makes you wonder too.
Who would you describe on his cabinet so far that are more reasonable than you would expected, same as you would expected, or less reasonable than you would expected?
Well, hearing Chris Christie and Newt Gingrich and the sort of usual suspects of the aging right, that, you know, but then about Bannon with Breitbart, and you just wonder, did Trump pick Pence, or did the Republican Party say, you're taking him because you wrangled our nomination?
Let me break in, because as it turns out, I've got Chris Christie on the phone.
Governor!
He said, you missed the news today. Trump called me a lion, and he's thrown me out because, not because Governor Christie turned his back on Trump after Trump's remarks became public, but because how could Chris Christie have let his two subordinates be tried and convicted when in fact Trump said this today, that Christie in fact was responsible for the whole thing. And Trump was very unhappy about having to watch Karen, one of the two that got convicted. He felt very bad about having to watch her cry.
So what you're saying is, I'm speaking about building bridges and Governor Christie was calling to give me bridge advice?
He says, yeah. Governor Christie is actually playing bridge. He's in a bridge club now anyway. Because I just heard him say, "One no Trump."
Oh, yes.
Okay, we'll maybe talk to you later during our second show, but we have to get back to the. You know, what did you expect Donald Trump to do to you after you crossed him on something? You know, you did say they were disappointed with the video which showed him saying what he said. And, you know,
we have a lot of disappointed local governors.
Well, we got one of the guys that was disappointed in him. Thanks for calling. One of the people that was disappointed in him, Prince Rebus, Reince Priebus, is in the cabinet. He's his chief of staff.
Chief of staff.
Does that mean he has a big enough staff to compensate for Trump's lack of staff?
Well, the rumor, of course, that has come out now is that the Trump group didn't realize that they actually have to fill something like 4,000 positions in the White House.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, granted, I didn't know either, but I guess I'm not running for president, so.
Yeah, you should kind of know that kind of stuff.
But is there a manual? Like, shouldn't there be a manual? Like, if you've got to fill 4,000 jobs in the White House, someone's got to hand you a 3-ring binder, or like a stack of 3-ring binders, and go, okay, these are all the things you have to, and whose job is to keep that up? I mean, is it like handwritten, no edits, and I want the manual.
It might be in George Washington's handwriting. You know, might go back till then.
The U.S. President's Manual. I mean, you have the anarchist cookbook. You can have a U.S. President cookbook. Tells you all the people you need to hire.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of countries that need ambassadors and other people. I mean, how do you keep track of all that?
I'll bet even Rahm Emanuel knows.
Oh.
Knows about the manual.
The secret manual.
The secret manual. 4,000 plus jobs.
And that's just in like their realm of responsibility.
Yeah.
So, you know, I mean, if you think about Trump and running the towers and workforces, he should be able to maybe not.
There might be some people that he hasn't paid over the years that he could repay now by giving them, a job and say, look, just because I stiffed you for your construction job 30 years ago or 20 years ago, I'll make it up to you. I'll let you do the same thing in the White House for a couple of weeks. But keep in mind, though, that you'll get paid this time because it's not me paying you.
Exactly.
It's the taxpayers paying you. So you'll get here's your payment for waiting 20 years. And who else has he got so far? Who else has he got so far that you think is creepier than you expected, less creepier than you expected, or as creepier than you expect?
I don't know if I've heard any other names than the ones we've talked about. I mean, there hasn't been a lot of there's a lot of rumor, and it's difficult to figure out.
We got Bannon, we got Priebus, and we got to go because we're going to come back tomorrow, Thursday, noon 30. Well, I'm sure we'll still be dressed in black, no doubt, because we'll still be in mourning for another however many years we need to be. This has been Progressive Soup. David Stevenson, Mark Morash, and we shall see you tomorrow, Thursday, noon 30. Thanks for watching.